Greetings, YouTube. Let me check my volume and see how I sound before I get to talking. I hope you guys had a wonderful day and night. Miss Chantell, I'm just now winding down. So let me check this channel before we're talking. Okay, here it is. Hmm. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. All right, that sounds good. All right. Give me a second. Take me a sip of this. Okay. Where do I start tonight? Hmm. This here is an interesting conversation. Ooh, you know, I spoke about this a while back. I think it was about 2 streams ago when I spoke about how Tariq is not the leader of the community. I had said that in our community, when anybody start a grassroots organization or something in our community for the betterment of the community, and I acknowledge that foundational Black Americans delineation was a great thing for the community. We know this is necessary that we delineate for many different reasons. I even touched up on how they delineated in the UK. A lot of the Caribbeans that was there first that populated there and paved the way and, made things happen for melanated people over there. When the Africans came in, they began to act up. And the Caribbeans was like, oh, no, you will not come over here and F all this up for us and undermine us. You will not play with us like that. So the Caribbeans made it a thing to take it to the government there and make sure they understood that these were not the same people as them. And they called it cultural distinction. Oh yeah, they had a delineation over there in the UK between Caribbeans and Africans. Hmm. And so, oh yeah, it was a lot of. It's still like that today too. A lot of they give them Africans a lot of pushback because they get disrespectful. If you don't give them the pushback and set them straight, they get disrespectful and then play the victim. Okay, so I spoke on that and I said Tariq is not the leader of the community. Nobody's the leader of the community of the people. We hear a message by a fellow tribesperson or tribesman or ethnic member, and we identify with that message and we get on board. That's how they go. But the person with the message, yes, it's their message. They lead it. They have insight on what they're trying to do and all of that kind of stuff. So they're going to lead that message or movement, whatever it is they're trying to do. And we, the people, support it. Now, in our community, the foundational Black American community in America, we've had many different grassroots organizations spring up at once. While the civil rights movement was happening, they had a whole bunch of other grassroots organizations that sprung up in our communities. It was never just one person doing something for the betterment of our community. We don't need just one person. That doesn't even make sense. We need plenty, many people with grassroots organizations organizing the kids, organizing whatever in our community. So again, it's never just one person that leads the community. Multiple grassroots organizations can spring up at once. There's many way before delineation, and trust me, it's going to be many more after. So see, usually you can only have one leader. But organizers and grassroots organizers are not leaders. They are people that's working for the better of their community. They're working for the better of their community. They come up with an idea, and if the idea sounds good to the people, we support it. Period. That's how that goes. But a leader, no. A leader is dearly respected, held at the highest utmost to the people. The people have a strong love for a leader. A very strong love for a leader. So a leader, I don't want to go deep into what a leader is right now because that's not, and I'm going to end up on something else. But I want to stick to the fact that, as Tariq said, he's not a leader. And we all can agree to that. One second. We all can agree to that. He's somebody who took part in a community by um, bringing forth a message. And the people resonated with the message and say, oh, yeah, that sounds good. I'm down with that. I'm down with that. That's how they go. And I said before in a stream, I think it was two streams ago, the minute the minute we hear something opposing the original plan or action, that's when people going to abandon. They're going to abandon, drop support for that grassroots organization or movement or whatever it is. They're going to drop support. It's going to be abandoned. And it's happened before many times. Now, I say that because I've heard some streams and it's not looking good for foundational Black American description to be tied in with manosphere ideology. So within foundational Black American delineation, that is supposedly is just a lineage to identify by, if we're going to identify by that lineage and say, hey, I'm foundational Black American, and they have men of our communities, our tribesmen that say, hey, I'm foundational Black American. And in the midst of our online presence, sharing our feelings and thoughts about delineation and why we must delineate and all of this stuff, in the midst of that, we're getting on code with each other and saying, yeah, we have to because we exposing stuff, we're exposing people's behavior towards us. When I say people, I'm talking about melanated immigrants that's among us that identify as us, which is called tethering. We're exposing them for who they truly are among us in our midst, how they are against us. And we've seen that with them, a lot of the Caribbean immigrants running for political positions and trying to stop reparations. And then the Africans and Pan Africans and cahoots over there trying to hijack reparations all the way to Africa. We've seen Pan Africans working behind the scenes to buy up all foundational Black American traditional, you know, traditional entertainment venues like what they call it, BET and Essence and so forth. There's a purpose behind that, of course, buying up all of our traditional um, entertainment and what else? Black owned companies. There's a reason for that. So we are hitting online, tapping in, and exposing, sharing what we know with each other about these people and exposing how these people are up to no good when it comes to the betterment of foundational Black Americans here. We decided to delineate, and then we decided to also delineate, and we decided to also expose online a lot of these people's true behavior, not just to ourselves, but to the world. Because trust me, anybody around the world can tap in and see this exposure going on. Oh, trust and believe me, the American government workers, they're watching it too and having a ball and coming to understand what we're saying, that there's Africans and other immigrants, Caribbeans, that's tethering to us and identifying as our ethnic description and misrepresenting us. And now it's all hit the fan because we have a government in place that's also anti-immigrant and want to get rid of the immigrants as many as possible. Our intentions were not to fight to get rid of immigrants, but to make sure the government understands, like they did in the UK, basically. Hold on a second. Make sure the government understand the cultural distinction, but we call it foundational Black American delineation because they lumped us in with all of these immigrants, knowing very well we're not immigrants. Still tagging us as African Americans, and we can not answer to that. And that's how they work. You just don't answer to it. We're not African, period. All right. The harassment is seen clearly. Why is it a problem that foundational Black Americans say, hey, we don't want to be recognized as one with you? That shouldn't be a problem. It's very creepy if somebody tell you they're not interested in building with you or anything with you. You're supposed to move along and be like, okay, whatever. But instead, your reaction is to creep people out and constantly demand that people recognize they share an ancestry, an ancestor with you. What the heck? What the? Oh, that's truly creepy, disgusting, creepy, and psychopath type of behavior. It's truly creepy. And then you have Pan Africans that's out of their minds trying to sway people to move to Africa, to nowhere. Wait, they don't even have. I talked about this on the stream yesterday or so. They want us to just hop up, abandon where we are here in America in mass numbers and go to Africa. Yet, where we're going to go, Pan Africans? Yeah, we're ready to go. Where we're going to go? They have nowhere for us to go. They have nowhere, no food, not enough food for us to eat if we were to go with them because Africans hardly have enough food. What, where are we going to stay? Because we can't stay in a dump because we are American citizens and we have a certain standard of living. And the place has to be up to par. Okay. They don't have good sewer systems. It's open defecation. The people is not going to practice that. It's pests, many pests, mosquitovilles. Some of the places are filled with mosquitoes and so forth. And not only that, it's limited electricity. But yet Pan Africans want us to just drop everything, pack up and go en masse to Africa and begin building. We didn't discuss what we're gonna get out of it or anything. It's just pure stupidity at the it's really, really sad and just pure stupidity. Now I pointed out yesterday in the stream that Asians, in particular Chinese, I believe it's Chinese people, they went over there, they took some of their money. And let me tell you, I'll say a million or two, you can build real nice communities over there because of the 3D printing houses and stuff. They're building them quick. You can put that up real quick out there. And they took some of their monies, went to Africa, bought some land, and put up a whole bunch of very nice luxury style apartment complexes and put fences around. They even have in one place, some Chinese bought land. Oh, by the way, they have their own farms. They grow their own food over there, African. They feed their own people. They have their own restaurants. They don't eat from Africans. You see the setup? And then they go get their people and say, come on. They bring the workers to continue to build. And then they start loading the people into those places to start businesses and so forth. That's how that goes. But for some dumb reason, Pan Africans, usually Caribbeans, um, and Africans, they want foundational Black Americans in particular to just abandon America and just blindly follow them to Africa without anywhere to stay or not having any of these things to offer. How stupid and dumb is that? It's so stupid. Oh, I almost clicked my button off. Wait a minute, am I still live? Okay, yeah, I'm still streaming. So I talked about that yesterday. Okay. But anyways, let's get back to the topic at hand. What was I talking about? My topic at hand was I was highlighting and just recapping the behavior of melanated people in this country, Black immigrants, towards foundational Black Americans. Those are the issues that's going on in our community at hand. And they'll say real fast, well, why y'all ain't talking about the white people? Baby, we've been doing that way before y'all hit this country. My people have always been given pushback way before y'all showed up on the scene. Stop it. But recently, unfortunately, the people had to stop paying attention to that. And they had to deal with the melanated people in their midst, among them tethering, 99.9% of them tethering to Black Americans, which is our ethnic description. And we had to change it to foundational Black American because melanated immigrants are seriously tethering to the point we've expressed that we're going to delineate. They're still trying to call themselves foundational Black Americans. It's ridiculous. It's the behavior is not nice. The behavior is really psycho type of behavior. And it's creepy. It's really creepy. Anyways, moving along. We've had to take our eyes off of what we were trying to do in this country for ourselves to get untangled from these people that is clearly an open enemy to the betterment of our community. Okay. With that being said, let's move back into the topic. Unfortunately, again, there's a distraction. And when you have things going on in a community, you're trying to better your community and do things to better the community. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to be ready for distractors that come. Agents of chaos is what I call them. They're distractors and they will sabotage your structure. Whatever the hell you're trying to do, they're going to sabotage if you don't put them down. And when I say put them down, make them understand that, oh no, you can't do that because that's not what it's about. You got to take that over there. Unfortunately, again, there's a distraction of distractors that have arisen within the foundational Black American delineation. I ain't gonna say movement, foundational Black American delineation happenings. Unfortunately. And that is, as I said earlier, manosphere, should I call them supporters? I want to say extremists. Yeah, because the behavior that I've witnessed is to the extremist level. I hate to use extremists because when you use extremists, it's like, ooh, like some scary level shit. Okay, but that's what I see when I see. Let me tell you something about this manosphere stuff online. This is an online community of manosphere. It started with the white people. The Black men decided to join in, but of course, in America, foundational Black American men are very aware of how it works in this country. They could never join in with white manosphere. They just start their own manosphere and have a Black manosphere. See, with Shirley Chisholm, she's Caribbean, and those other feminists that came from abroad, Grenada and Cuba and all of that, they were feminists and they came here and they wanted to join in with the white tea feminist women here. And they were like, oh no, honey, no, you can't join us. You're not welcome to come in our shit, but you can support us. Go over there and start your own movement and support us. See, that's how it works in America. You ain't gonna join in with them. You just start your own group to support them. That's how you connect with them. Yeah, it's ring space. Yeah. But anyways, they started their own manosphere online group. And I remember when I first came online, it was the holidays 2018, and I was looking for recipes or whatever, and my son introduced me to YouTube. He was like, "Yeah, you can look at anything on this app." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And recipes, and he showed me the recipes, and then I was like, "What about this?" And I fell in love with the do it DIY online community where you learn how to do everything for yourself. I started doing everything for myself, just look at tutorials and stuff. I started watching reviews of it before I purchased anything. So I really became a YouTube person, for as using it for um, the best to get the best out of whatever I was trying to do. Then my son continued. He said, "You can listen to these podcasts they be having on there too." I'm like, "For real? Okay, show me." So he showed me the first person that came up was Thomas Sotomayor, and we listened to him together for a minute, about 20 minutes, and he was talking crazy reckless about black women in America. And I was like, "How dare him? Who is this guy?" And he needs to be put off air and so forth. Let me take a sip of this. Hold on. I was like, he needs to be put off air. And I really was like, he's disgusting and foul. And anyway, he lasted a long time on air and they finally got him off. He finally fell off, which is wonderful. And then um I came across the manosphere as I was listening into other podcast channels. And I tell you, when I heard them, and it was years ago, I heard them talking about women. I was like, what? This is some dangerous. And I stayed away from those channels. And they had many of them pop up. One particular channel, I think it was like BGS or something like that, it was called. And I came across the channel. I clicked in and I'm listening. And a guy, he was an older guy, and he was talking to the women he had on the panel, and he was directing them. They had to talk in a very smooth voice, like, "Yes, okay, it's your turn, Sheila. Okay." They had to talk like that. And so I was like, what? He was controlling the whole panel of women on that type of level. Yes, yes, yes. It was crazy. Like, is he paying them or something? Hold on a second. I'm like, is he paying him or something? What's going on here? What the hell? Did he hack him or something? But there's always going to be women that desire that type of control. Um, let me rephrase that. There's always going to be those type of women that likes a man attention, because some women, they don't get attention. Okay. Um, Never get attention. And those kind of women, that's the women that's attracted to manosphere, because they're like, "Hey, I'm here to serve you. Your Highness, I'm here to do anything you want, Your Highness. You want me to stand on one feet and jump up and down and bark like a dog? Okay." I kid you not. There's always some of those type of women around who are neglected and doesn't get any male attention or affection. And that's their opportunity to get it by being servants to such men. So they go in and they, well, I'm not that type of lady. I'll do anything you say. Leave him alone. You wenches, you broads and whores. But those women again, they're desperate for attention from men. So they're going to always have some women supporters because again, those type of women. Now, manosphere don't go after those type of women. They want to chastise women that's beautiful, that has she can possibly catch the attention of any man she wants. She's beautiful, she's sexy, she's and when I say sexy, we're not talking about slutty dressing or anything like that. We're talking about a woman that carry herself in the utmost way. She doesn't tolerate BS. She has her own. They're very intimidated by such women. Very intimidated by such women. The fact that they feel they can't get her, form a rejection, that upsets them. The fact that she has the confidence that's so sky high they can't even begin to try to take step on it. It's too high. The fact that she can take care of herself financially, they can't control her. When a woman can take care of herself, a man has no control. True. Okay, that's intimidating as well to them. She's beautiful. Soon as she leave or he leave, somebody gonna scoop her up. Those are the type of women that they want to chastise. It's a really creepy online community. It's really scary. When I first heard it, I was like, ooh, creeper jeepers. Goodness. How they talking about women. And I knew to stay away from such men. Let me give you an example real quick. Um, there was a guy that went, well, first I'm gonna tell you about this other guy. He, was in a manosphere, passport bro type of stuff online, these online communities. And he decided this man was out of his mind. He decided to go get a passport and go to Europe. He went to Europe. When you look at him, you can see, and you guys can look this up on YouTube. When you look at the man, you can see he was whacked out. He was out of it. He had no control. He took nothing serious. Period. He didn't take anything serious. He didn't value anything or anybody, but he listened to these other passport bros that was online encouraging each other to go abroad. And, you're going to have so many women that want to be with you because you're American and you got money or something like that. But this guy went and got a passport, went over to Europe. And like I said, there's always women out there that's been neglected or you know, they don't really get much attention from men. There's always those groups of women out there. So when he got to Europe, of course, he found those, they have a particular women they go after when they're in need. And he found a woman out there. And she was a heavy set Caucasian woman. One second, let me turn this down as well. I think it's too loud. So yeah, she was a heavy set Caucasian woman, and Turn this commercial off. And and he got with her. And of course she was like, "Oh, welcome to, Amsterdam or wherever they were." I think it was Amsterdam. And he didn't have much of anything, but she took him in. And you can look this up on YouTube. She took him in and took him home and nurtured him and all of that stuff. Took care of him for a while. He stayed with her up to a good year. She got pregnant. Oh, they got married. She got pregnant. And then he left. He left and went to, I believe it was Australia. Yeah. And he touched down in Australia. And of course, they have those kind of women all around the world. And he met some in Australia. I ain't gonna say some, he met one in Australia. She wasn't heavy or anything, but she was older. And he engaged himself with her. Hold on one second. So yeah, he engaged with that one in Australia. And he married her eventually after about they married early on. I think it was about 4 months. She took care of him, of course. She was a well to do. I think she was into finance or something like that. Yeah, she had money. And so she took care of him. They got married. And she said all of a sudden after about 8 months, he took off. He took off and went back to the first lady he married, which was in Amsterdam in Europe. And he was back with her, and of course she received him back happily because she had his kid by then. And she ended up getting pregnant again with his second child. And then he left her and went back to Australia with the other woman. But the other woman was very feisty, aggressive, and she began to look into him. hmm One of those. She began to look into him like, wait a minute, he disappearing. I don't like this here, baby. So she began to look into him, and she caught on to what he was doing. He was going around the world marrying women, which was illegal, by the way. So because it was in different countries, um, they couldn't quite pin it. But the lady in Australia, she pushed and pushed and pushed. I mean, she did not stop. But that lady fought to get him for 2 years. He had messed with the wrong one. She finally convinced him after building a whole case against him in Australia. They had proved that he was married to the lady in Amsterdam, and she found out about the wife in Amsterdam. And she did a whole investigation. She found out where he was from in America, everything about him. Okay. And so she kept trying to get him to come back to Australia because they said, yeah, if you get him back here, then we can pin this on him and or pin that on him or whatever. And let me tell you, this guy knew she was up to something, but she lured him back some kind of way. and they got him. They arrested him and pinned the charge on him, but it did not stick. The other woman, in the meantime, who had his two children, she explained to her children the behavior of the dad, how the things that he was doing, going around the world marrying people, and that he wasn't going to be a part of their life. And, you know, she was sorry they had to tell them that or whatever. And they had told their mom, they say, it's okay, it's not your fault. We love you and we're going to be fine. That's how it turned out for them. She didn't want to retaliate against him or anything because she said it just wasn't even worth the energy. She just wanted to live a happy life with her and her children. And that's how that went on that behalf. But the other lady was determined that he was going to pay for his behavior and she was going to put a halt to it. And so she continued on coming to America and informing them what he was doing and so forth until she got them to be able to try to pin another charge on him. And when he touched back down to, he was probably was in some other country besides Australia or Europe. He probably was somewhere else. But when he did make it back to America and she was there, she lured him back to America. When he got there, they pinned a charge on him and it stuck. And he went to jail for years. You can look that up online. Yeah. And then there was a second case where the guy was from Compton somewhere in California. And he decided to get his passport and go over to China so he can get him a good wife, a good Chinese wife. And so he went to an online school and got a a teaching certificate or something so he can teach outside the so he can teach outside the country. Hold on a second. Yeah, he got the teaching certificate so he can teach outside the country. You know how people do. They go abroad to be teachers. And so he got that and he went over to China, listening to his passport brother's advice, went over to China. And of course, he met those kind of women. There's always those kind of women out there that's been neglected or don't get much of men attention. And he just gave them attention, and there it is. They're at his feet. And so this was a younger lady, though. This Chinese lady was not that she was pretty young. She was younger than him. I think she was about 5 years younger than him, or maybe six. And he met the young lady. She was thrilled that she met an American man. She was from a poor village area. And she was thrilled. He started off whining and dining her. She got pregnant. They moved in together. And he married her. She got pregnant. And then she said things began to change. He became aggressive with her, very bossy and aggressive with her. And she decided to leave because she didn't like it. She didn't like being dominated, or him dominating over her, telling her every 1 second. Yeah, so he began to be real aggressive with this young lady. And we're talking about a young lady. And he was real bossy with her and dominating. And the young lady took her baby and fled to the family, back to her family home. And and he one day he took she was telling him constantly, he would lure her constantly by offering child support. Come get this money. That's the only way she would meet up with him, if he offered her money for the baby, child support. Because she kept asking him for money to take care of the baby. And that's the only way she would go meet him. And the last time she went to meet the guy, he told her to meet him at the bus stop or whatever. This was in China. And she went to meet him to collect some money for the child. And he stabbed that young lady up to death. And as he was stabbing her, he was saying, "You not a good China wife." That's really sad. Do you know they had one of them one time? This happened a few years ago. He was online with these guys and he was a grown man, of course, and they were talking to him and he all of a sudden pulled over his van, got out the van, went got on a train in New York where he was visiting and started shooting people. There's also incels, the ones that, deal with rejection from women. Like it's very creepy and dangerous. That's when I first heard them talking, I was like, whoa. I knew to stay away from that type of platform or anything. I don't want to have any type of talking to such people. Some of them can hide their extremist manosphere behavior real well, but eventually the mask always fall off. It will fall off, and you're going to see their hatred and anger towards women, and it's scary. Okay? This is the behavior that has infiltrated foundational Black American delineation happening. And it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. That's why I say it's gonna be the collapse of foundational Black American delineation. If it continues to grow, and it's growing, it hasn't been put down or put out or corrected. So it's going to continue to grow. And what happens is you can't be moving as one, because that's what delineation is about. What are the men delineating only? That wouldn't make sense. Everybody of that lineage is identifying as foundational Black American. But if you have males there that's coming at the females there, the women there, and if you coming for women, then you coming for their children too. That's a threat. What woman wants to be a part of that? What decent woman? I told you they always got some of them women that's been neglected and they like, I'm right here for you, Poppy, at your service. Jump on one feet and bark like a dog. Woo, woo, woo. They always got some of them. Not a whole lot, but they always have them out there. That's the only ones I can see continuing to go along with anything where you got extremist manosphere behavior going on within that space of foundational Black American delineation. If that's what the space offer, Foundational Black American Delineation online, because they're online as well. A lot of stuff pop off online, just like Black Lives Matter popped off online and then offline. But honey, if we online discussing, exposing stuff and discussing stuff about what's going on in a community, and saying, yeah, we need to, get away from that because look at this, look at that. And here comes extremist manosphere people pushing their super creepy, scary, dangerous ideology, which is anger towards women, incel behavior, those that deal with rejection. What else? It's those that deal with rejection, incel behavior, the ones that want to dominate women and put them in check. And for me, I think I think it has something to do with childhood. You know, it has something to do with childhood. Yeah, it's creepy, it's scary, and it's dangerous. Like I said, it's dangerous rhetoric, and it's not to be played with or taken lightly. And it has infiltrated foundational Black American delineation happenings in the online presence, because this manosphere stuff is an online community. And unfortunately, some of these grown men and young men become very radicalized by this stuff. Okay, it's very creepy and scary. No disrespect. Yes. I don't want them piling up on this channel. No disrespect, but yeah, that's going to be the collapse of foundational Black American delineation happenings if it continues. Because any sane woman in her right mind with any type of decency, self respect for herself will not continue to support such things. If the person that say, I popularize, foundational Black American delineation or whatever. If that person supported, baby, pull back, withdraw your support. I don't give a damn who that person is. I told you guys in the last stream, I said, let me tell you why Tariq Nasheed is not a leader. He's just somebody who's doing something for in the community that's a part of, he's participating in the betterment of the community. All grassroots organizations do that. And if we like the message, we support it, we get on board with it and support it. But if the message turn into something that it was not originally about, we know how to withdraw. It's happened before in our history. In the history of our movements, it's happened before. Support will be abandoned when that person turn cold. Turncoat is when you on one thing, and then all of a sudden you on something like Nicki Minaj did, right? She all black and I'm a rapper and I'm this and all that, and next thing you know, she in cahoots with white supremacist minded people. That's a whole turncoat. When that happens, let me tell you something. The support will be withdrawn and fade, but it won't be withdrawn and faded right away. Because some women, it take a minute to kick in and be like, girl, what are you doing? Why did you even don't support this type of, you know what I'm saying? But for grown ass women like myself who I love myself, baby. For grown women like me, and there's a plenty like me out here, they're not gonna play with it. They're gonna address it. They're gonna call it out. Some of them may even take time to drag it through social media, put a touch up on it, like there it is. This what happened, y'all. Y'all need to know. Now I don't do all that because I feel like it's gonna be known anyways. I know somebody else gonna do it. But I certainly will withdraw when I know I'm hearing something that's dangerous rhetoric. But it's not just dangerous rhetoric, it's been dangerous. I just gave y'all instances of examples of offline, when they get offline, what they do. That's it's dangerous. It's not to be played with. When you see hostility towards women, and here we are supposed to be moving in solidarity to delineate and gatekeep and do all these other things. How the hell you gonna boycott and move in solidarity and do this and that when you done been infiltrated by males claiming to be foundational Black Americans, coming at foundational Black American women with straight anger and hostility. Anger and hostility. Somebody needs to put that down and talk that down and say, hey, you're in the wrong space with that. We on something different right here. We trying to move together. We trying to move together and build and gatekeep and so forth. You can't be coming at the sisters like that. But only real men will do that. Only real men will call it out. That's what Miss Chantell desires. I don't, excuse me, I don't desire a real man, but if I was to have a man, he got to be a real man. And what I mean by that is that, look, my man don't just let slide. You know what I'm saying? My man call it out. And if he don't like what he hearing or seeing, he withdraw. Ain't no such thing as a bestie. I'm his bestie. His wife is his bestie. Okay? So he ain't gonna be supporting nobody that's moving really weird. Talking this but living that. Mm-mm. That's real men. Real men don't just go along to get along. They don't do that. They call it out. They address it. Big ups to the brothers that did address it. Because I did hear some panels where they addressed it. Big ups. And you are the type of guys that should get the big ups. Big ups. They addressed when they heard hostility and anger towards a fellow sister based off of nothing, just except the person was already on that manosphere vibe. So when the sister approached, it was the perfect opportunity to conquer that that to conquer that liberated spirit in her, where she just get to say anything she wants and all that and try to talk all over me. And I'm gonna conquer this, and she gonna bow down and which would never happen. But you know, they tried. And honey, the man went in full flash anger mode and hostility towards this woman because she was an outspoken woman. When I say outspoken, I don't mean disrespectful or anything like that. But she just outspoken in her expression, in when she expresses herself. Wasn't nothing to really get mad about. But again, that person was already on that manosphere vibe, embedded with it. I'm talking embedded with it, deep in this spirit, angry. That shit make them angry too. Now look, if you're a good looking person, you got some happiness going on about yourself. When I was a young lady, I was good, I'm still good looking, but I had it going on in my younger days and you know, like men was lining up to kick it with me, okay? So I didn't think about, matter of fact, I didn't have any friends that was like that just was on some real jealousy type of stuff. Hold on. I might have sensed maybe one or two guys that used to act jealous of another guy, something like that. But they wasn't on no type of I can't get a girl. They might have didn't get the girl they want, you know. But I don't know if that's something new or what, that manosphere stuff, but ooh, I don't even like to say it. It's creepy and scary. And it's not to be played with. When you look at these YouTube channels and these women caught up with some of these guys who want to conquer. One time I used to think the women knew that the men were crazy beforehand. I'm like, wait a minute. If you knew he was crazy, you should have got rid of him. You knew he was crazy. Don't play like you didn't know that dude was crazy. You know. But no, 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 no. When you see those videos and stuff, a lot of them don't know. It'd be a switch up that happens. The mask eventually falls off. So yeah, I wanted to touch up on that. That's nothing to play with. And anybody that's supporting who allowing it to be, ladies, you need to pull back. You need to pull back. Withdraw. There's a lady by the name of Uppity, Uppity. I hope she don't mind me sharing her channel. Uppity is interviewing Salon, one of the co-founders or creators of Salon, tomorrow on her channel. And I'm gonna listen into that. You guys should listen in. Um, Ladies, you can always withdraw support from any type of happenings in our communities. That includes foundational Black American delineation. Baby, if it's disrespecting you, you withdraw immediately. If it's allowed to be disrespectful to foundational Black American women, the men there in that space are allowed to be disrespected to the sisters in that space. Withdraw. I don't give a fuck what foreigners gonna say, what the immigrants gonna say. I don't give a damn. What I'm concerned about is you having self-respect and self-love for yourself that you withdraw. Don't find it funny. Don't let somebody tell you, oh, we just playing, we family. Fuck all that. Because you wouldn't want this man talking to your mama, your wife, or your sisters in that manner. You got me? Sisters, withdraw if you're not getting the respect that you're supposed to get. Withdraw. Baby, go support Salon. You can go ahead and change that right on over and support Salon. Am I saying it right? Salon. You can support that. You can bring your support right on over there, sweetheart. Because guess what? A foundational Black American delineation is not going to be shit without the women. Do you understand what I'm saying? One thing I don't like, I I just don't like it when you get never allow that. It can only happen if you allow it. If you continue to support it, it means you allow the disrespect. Don't complain about it now. If you're gonna stay there and support it, if there's disrespect, if there's manosphere behavior and activity in that space, that foundational Black American delineation space where they're anti-woman, where they're hostile towards foundational Black American women, baby, that's not the space for you. If it's not checked and put out, and I don't just mean check, I mean put out, as in no, you will not come in this space and push that manosphere hostility towards women, anger towards women over here. If it's not put out and made to understand that, no, you're not going to do that. You're not allowed to do that in this space. Then you should withdraw, ladies. Baby, you still can do your little movement thing. You can call yourselves American freedmen. You can go and bring your support to Solon or even ADOS. Baby, they will love it. But you never sit and allow disrespect. Ladies, don't allow yourself to be verbally abused because what? What? By those messed up in the head people. I think I say what I had to say on that. That will be the collapse of foundational Black American delineation if they don't check that manosphere extremist behavior ideology that's happening in a space, online space. It's gonna be the collapse of the delineation happening. If it continues to grow, it's gonna sabotage the structure that ain't even begin to grow yet. In a process of popping, but ain't gonna go nowhere if it's not rooted out real fast. I used to read my son a children's book, and it was called Fruitville. I used to read him this book all the time so he can know, you know, the happen. And in Fruitville, it was a garden, and it was where they grew strawberries and all that kind of stuff. And in Fruitville, the gardener taught the fruits or some of the veggies. Anytime you see a weed, you gotta root it out real fast soon as you see it. Or else it's gonna take root. It's gonna begin to grow if you let it grow, and it's gonna choke you out. So the fruits in the garden and the veggies were taught to root it out as soon as you see anything that's not good for you. Hmm. And that's how they go. If it's not rooted out, withdraw. Move along, ladies. Have some self respect, have some dignity. You don't put your support in places that disrespect you. Period. Point blank. And let me tell you something. None of that behavior is normal. That's not normal behavior for men. I tell you that. That's some scary shit right there. That's when you see crazy, you move away. Okay, you distance yourself. Even on these online communities, the mask will fall off eventually. And you see who they truly are. Okay. Um, Let me speak on. Oh, and that's called misogyny, by the way, hatred of women. So let me speak on. So I heard a stream, and um, the guy was saying he was saying in LA, if you plus size, which I've been in LA thousands of times, I have family on both my mom and dad's side, still living there today. If you on a plus size, you're gonna have a hard time getting a man in LA because the women here, is competition and they model built type of women. What competition? Child, please. Some raggedy ass women there. What you talking about? Listen, the hype, okay? It's the hype. Listen, you can say LA is dirty as hell like everywhere else. Okay? Stop it. The Star Strip is dirty, filthy, pimps up and down the streets with those worn out looking whores. No disrespect, but the women be looking tired. Okay. It's you go in a clothing store to shop, it ain't nothing but whore clothing every which way you turn. Honey, to get you a plus size woman would be a plus out there. Because if not, it's gonna likely be a whore. I seen many plus size women, sisters in LA that's wrapped up in brothers' arms. Yes, I did. Every time I go there, matter of fact, very much. You have your little pretzies. Pretzies is like my cousins. They act like booty queens. I call them valley girls. They valley girls. Funny as hell. They really pretty. Okay, which I like. I'm really ladylike as well. I promote ladylike behavior. So um yes, you have your pretty women, but let me tell you something. A lot of them tend to be uh they take care of men. And then you have a lot of them that's undercover, you know what. Cause in LA listen, a lot of them are on these journeys to be actors and so forth. And a lot of them be homeless, okay? Until they become stars, sleeping on the beach and stuff and so forth. Oh yeah, it be some crazy happenings, baby. Okay. A lot of them bum out on people couches or shelters or on a beach in a car or in a tent. Yeah. A lot of the celebrities, a lot of them have their homeless stories. Very much. And let me tell you something, because I'm getting sleepy. I'm gonna get off of here. Let me tell you something. Child and brothers be happy to see a plus size sister, because let me tell you what's going on there that's really wild. And you can look this up on YouTube. Honey, they got so many dang on transgenders there that look like women. You cannot tell that they are men. I mean, you cannot tell they're men. It's so bad there with that the men, a lot of rich men who be dating out there, they have to ask the women off the top, are you transgender? Usually it'd be something like, are you married? But no, these guys have to ask, the first thing has to be, are you transgender? Then they did a documentary of these transgender people or women, they men, but transgender women. Is it transgender men? No, transgender women. Men that's women that becomes women. And so they did a documentary on them because the transgender women look beautiful, have had all type of surgeries. I mean, you cannot tell they men. Period, point blank. And so a lot of them wanted to be able to get married and have children. I kid you not. It's on the documentary. Go see for yourself. A lot of them wanted, because they didn't fill the people up with its possibilities for them to have children and stuff. Whatever. I'm not talking about that. But um, they did a documentary because they were complaining that they couldn't find partners when they tell the person, yes, they were transgender. The person abandoned the date or the happiness, the relationship, not relationship, the dating. And so they had went into deeper conversations with them to find out what's going on in the community there in California, LA and stuff. And the transgender community was like, oh, they were having mass transgenders do the surgery to have the penis removed and a vagina made. And many of them had it done. So when the person they're out on a date with asked them, are you transgender? They say no. Because they consider themselves at that point transsexual. They consider themselves a woman, a real woman at that point. They no longer identify as transgender once they have the surgery. I'm talking looking beautiful as heck. Like you can't even tell. They didn't have voice surgeries and everything. Adam's apples removed. You can't tell. A lot of the celebrities, you never know which one of them was born a man. You don't know. So in the documentary, they was talking about how all of them was lined up to get the surgery so that when the guy asked them, are you transgender? They can say no. So a plus size woman, oh, she got it going on when she get to LA. Because those brothers aren't worried about some jiggle on a woman. He more concerned with if she's a real woman, if she's born a woman. And we talking the white guys even had to pop the question at the beginning of the date. Wow, you look fabulous. Wow, you're stunning. If a woman is too perfect, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Too perfect. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Okay. So yeah, yeah. That's what they're dealing with in LA. They ain't worried about no motherfucking extra weight on your ass. Them dudes is more concerned with are you born a woman? Okay. So what else I want to say before I close this up because I'm sleepy now. Um, I'm yearning for some coffee. I can't do that. What else I want to say? Oh, let's see. Oh, I heard a conversation today about African marriages in a video I watched for only a minute because that manosphere mentality popped out. It's very disrespectful. Listen, concerning African marriages, they operate completely different than America. I don't even know why somebody would want to align American foundational Black America keep on comparing themselves to us. We don't even have our own country over here, and they do, and they flee in their country. It's just too. It's pure stupidity. It really is. It's pure stupidity and jealousy. You have your own country you're fleeing from, and constantly coming over here comparing yourself to foundational Black Americans when you know damn well you're living in a hellhole over there. You know damn well everybody knows what's going on. But that's the tribal minded mentality. They want to compete. And you just look around the world, nobody wants them there in their country. Nobody wants them there. And they don't even see that. They're too busy trying to compete with foundational Black Americans, too busy trying to compete with us and telling us who we are, that they can't even see that nobody wants them in their country, not even South Africans. Ain't that a blimp? That's a weirdo. But listen, when it comes to African marriages, Africans have a thing with it, what they call it, customary, aka traditional marriages. The silver marriage is when they go to the government and register. Then they have also religious marriages where, they just recognize it, the religious community recognize it. It's not registered with the government. And the customary traditional marriages in African countries are not registered with the government either. Civil marriages is when they go register with the government, and it's very, very few of them that happens. Very few. Their majority of marriages are customary, aka traditional African marriages, where the village and the family, yay, you're married. That's it. That's majority of their marriages is not registered with the government. A good bit of their marriages is religious ceremonial marriages as well, where they're not registered with the government. I think they probably do polygamy, the religious ones. I don't know if that relates to Muslims or Christians and Muslims, but they have religious marriages where they it's just religious ceremony, that's it. It's not government registered. That's not a part of their that's not a part of their culture to do civil marriages, to go and register with the government as being married. It's not a part of their culture. You see? So you can't compare West African countries. You can't compare their marriages to American marriages, or let's say foundational Black American marriage. You can never get a number, a steady number. You can't even compare it. It's so stupid. That ain't nothing but a person that present that. It was a woman that presented the question to a man. Is foundational Black American foundational Black Americans marrying more? Hold on. Are foundational Black Americans marrying more than Africans? And Africans mean in general. How stupid is that? Then he narrowed it down for her to West Africa, South Africa, whatever like that country. Um, the comparison is just when they get to comparing, that's you're witnessing tribalism. Uh, a person did that on my stream last night. I was wishing they come in here today so I can crush them out. Or I was wishing they come in today. It's nothing but tribalism. Their mind is filled with tribalism. They compete with other people that's the same complexion with them. They want to be better than other people that's the same complexion with them. Or whomever is the top goat, they want to compete with. Like, the shit is creepy, weird, and dumb. It really is. How you gonna compare African country marriages to foundational Black America? We don't. It's two different countries. You know damn well y'all don't have civil marriages like that. You know very well you have customary traditional marriages where somebody pay a dowry and the family say, yay, a $35 dowry, the family say, yay, or you have religious marriages. Majority of them are not civil government registered marriages. There are no numbers to compare because many of you don't have civil marriage. You're not registered as married in your country. Over here in America, it's common law marriage. Much, much, much common law marriage. Whether they go and get registered or whether they're at the house and don't get registered and living together and raising a family together. And it crosses the color line these days, sweetheart. Don't let people fool you, tell you white women and whoever else is getting married more. No, no, no. That's not true. The marriage has affected all people across the color line. Men are rarely getting married to these women today. It's not like it used to be. Many, many, many of them are in common law marriages. They're living together, raising a family, all they have kids and all that kind of stuff, but they're not legally registered as married in this country. Okay, so you can't compare the numbers. The foolery of it, though, is just tribal minded foolishness. You want to keep wanting to compare, compare, compare. Go about your business and build something. Go build. You have your own land. Go and build. And leave foundational Black American people the hell alone. You can't build nothing if you're too busy focused on these particular people. Why are your eyes focused on foundational Black Americans when you have your own land to go build up? That's the weirdo. It's straight weirdo to me. Like, it's beyond weirdo. It's dumb, stupid, ignorant, completely tribal minded to have your own land, but you focused on foundational Black Americans rather than going back home or doing something to build your land. So, yeah, that's what I say about those African marriages and so forth. Um, ooh, Concerning the news, there's a lot of happenings going on. It is. It's a lot of crazy happening. Um, just keep your eyes open. Don't be surprised. Because remember, in this country, they have distractors to distract you from this while something else is happening. You know what I'm saying? And distractors usually look like this: a lot of protesting, and you never know, like with these people trying to do the removal of immigrants, you just never know what they're cooking up in the background. So it's like keep your eyes open. Don't get distracted. And at the same time, dealing with other countries, like, other countries ain't like, you know, they're not gonna be bullied. You know what I'm saying? They want to get back at them, and ooh, child, it's crazy out there. Stay prayed up though. Stay prayed up. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for tonight. And um yeah, we have to shut stuff down though. That's not We don't have to shut anything down, right? That's for men to do. But for ladies, when you hear disrespect of you in a space and they let it continue, withdraw your support. It's that simple. Withdraw your support. Don't allow yourself to be disrespected. Okay? Thank you for tuning in tonight. And let me know what you think about the commentary and hit the thumbs up button, okay? Thank you and have a good night.